Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about X-Men. And this movie is directed by Bryan Singer, and it has a huge cast, and it came out in 2000. And I remember liking this movie. There are aspects that I could remember. And overall, with all things considered, I thought it was fine. There are things that I really enjoyed. There are things that I did not enjoy too much. So let's go through the movie without spoiling anything. I do think this movie opens strong, and it establishes the world that this movie is taking place in, and mutants, they don't really spawn their powers until they're like teenagers, and they're being discriminated against, and they're considered dangerous, and they're like, if I had my way 100%, lock all mutants up forever. No questions asked. And I thought it was a good way to introduce us to this world with mutants and everyone dealing with their powers and how they can be considered dangerous. And, like, sure, they are in ways, but there are two ways that you can go about with using these powers. Like, use them for good and help people, or use them to destroy and, like, control people with fear. And those are the two sides that are going on in this movie. There's Charles Xavier, who I just explained is like trying to make sure everyone is in control, and like he wants peace and everyone to be equal, and it's like just the best for everybody. And Magneto, he's the exact opposite, and he wants to rule everyone by force, and he doesn't care what he has to do to get his way. He'll do it, no questions asked, and he that's basically what he's after, just ruling everyone by fear. The action in this movie is kind of fun. It's entertaining. It's not the most impressive stuff I've ever seen, but it wasn't terribly handled, is what I'm going to say. It's just when you compare it to the action scenes in Spider-Man, or to some extent Blade from 1998, the original Blade. From memory, I thought the action was much better in Blade than in X-Men, but this movie isn't about the action. It's about its characters and its world, and there are stakes in the movie, and it establishes the characters pretty well, and it's pretty in your face and on the nose, and it's pretty blunt about everything, and at the very least, it's trying. It is putting an effort to be a good movie, and all of the elements to make a good movie are here, and it's very clearly that they were putting an effort in it. But overall, I wasn't really invested in the characters or the story. There were some characters that I found likable, but there are some things that were just thrown into me, and I'll get into those in just a second. But there were some really great performances in this movie. Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, Hugh Jackman, like those are the best performances in the movie. I thought they were really great, and I liked the scenes with Wolverine and Rogue. I think they worked well when they were on screen, and I liked what they were going for, and those scenes were pretty nice and some of the best in the movie. The special effects in this movie are pretty inconsistent. Sometimes they look pretty good and are pretty convincing, but there are points where it's very clearly CG and it doesn't hold up as well. There was also a really forced romance in this movie that was just thrown in, and from what I understand in the comics, it's like a love triangle between Wolverine, Jean Grey, and Cyclops. And while I haven't read the comics to X-Men, or really any comics really, in this movie it kind of just felt thrown in there and really out of place, and it didn't feel as though it fit in the movie. And this movie is also setting up quite a few things, and it doesn't feel like a Marvel movie where it's just setting things up for the sake of setting things up for later movies and not really having a standalone movie. This movie, it's doing its best to stand on its own, and the stuff that it's setting up, it doesn't take up too much screen time, and I thought that was a good choice, despite me not really enjoying the story that was being presented to me all that much. But I also wasn't really a big fan of the child performances. I just felt as though the children in this movie had no idea what movie they were in. They were just given dialogue and they said it, and I just wasn't convinced that they were characters in a movie. The music in the movie, it didn't really add to my experience, unfortunately. I found it to be really disposable and forgettable. And that's also a thing that was affecting my experience while watching the movie, is that in terms of music, there was nothing I could remember. And I just wish that it stood out more and wasn't just bland to me. And that's about all I have to say about X-Men. It was okay. I didn't hate it. I didn't regret watching it. There are things that I like about it. There are things that I respect about it. But unfortunately, at its core, it was just really, really boring to me. And if you've never seen the X-Men movies, I would say this one's okay. It's not terrible. You can watch it, but personally, I'm never going to watch this one again. And with all that being said, I'm going to give X-Men from 2000 a 5 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos as always. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below what you thought of X-Men, and my social media links, they will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for John Wick Chapter 1. I've reviewed 2 and 3 on my channel, but never the first one. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.